Humanity has collapsed in 2098, causing people to move to other worlds. Dr. Cedric Harris is in charge. Eisen was also taken to the new planet, Gosindra, by Harris, who was evacuating people there. Eisen has lost all recollection of the past. 20 years later, Eisen opened his ocean blue eyes to the rustle of leaves and distant birds weaving for the attention in a field of flowers. He awoke in awe and played with the butterflies that were fluttering all around him.
Where am I? What is place? Oh, is that butterfly? Wow, look, how beautiful you are.
Dr. Harris, who was looking at the monitor and speaking to the assistant, said,
Look at this, look what we have created. He is so perfect, so full of life. But this perfection will vanish if he learned what he should know. Therefore, you must take good care of him. Don't let him fall out under my circumstance.
Yes, doctor. I will take good care of Eisen and ensure nothing is lacking.
For the 4-5 days that I'm away, make sure everything is in order. Don't forget to take Eisen out for swimming, piano lesson, and combat training. When I come back, I hope everything will be fine.
After Dr. Harris went out to work, and the doctor assistant took Eisen to swim at the city pool, Eisen went to meet his classmates, his heart full of longing, and his friend Venice said,
Eisen, where did you go this weekend? You know, my dad took me to swimming competition in another city.
Really? It looks so fun. I really want to go.
And most importantly, I won this competition. You know? Do you know what my father rewarded me with? He built a city for me. I can turn my city to anything, just as I intend.
Wow, that's great. Take me to play in your city sometime.
Sure, just let me know when you want to go.
Meanwhile, a handsome young man walked by and looked at Eisen with a gaze full of affection. Then when he spoke up,
Look over there. That guy looked at you again. You are always so hot, Eisen. But you still don't have a boyfriend because Dr. Harris sent an assistant to follow you closely. Aren't you feeling uncomfortable?
Eisen spoke in a tone that didn't think anything of it.
Not at all. I understand. Doctor is good. He take very good care of me after I couldn't remember anything. I never went against him.
You're right. Doctor take good care of you, huh? And what about Xavier? Come on, tell me about him. I see you two together often.
When he said with a curious tone,
It's nothing really. We just friends. I'm just helping him with piano lesson. The teacher Paris add up, but he seemed like a nice person. I will introduce him to Venice later.
Just friends? Really? Your face and eye light up so much when you talked about him.
Seriously, let's go swimming, Venice. The professor will complain otherwise.
Venice and Eisen went to swim lessons. Cut to the assistant standing far away, watching Eisen, and receiving a call from Doctor. The assistant pressed the button next to the glasses to answer the call, and Doctor appeared on the screen. The two of them talked about something, and then the assistant walked out. When Venice and Eisen finished swimming and came out, they saw the assistant doing something in the mobile unit. But when the assistant saw Eisen in the rear view mirror, he quickly turned off the display and came out to greet Eisen.
Mr. Eisen, are you done? What were you doing just now? You look at really stressed.
Eisen spoke to his assistant with a puzzled expression and leaned forward to look into the moving vehicle.
No, just finishing up some painting work. Let's continue, Mr. Eisen. You must be hungry by now. Oh, okay, then let's go. Venice, see you later, bye bye.
After the swimming lesson ended, it was 5 p.m. with a temperature of 4 degrees. The evening sunlight from the sun, though not very warm, was enough to avoid wearing multiple layers. The sky, painted with shades of orange, was about to see the sun dip below the horizon. Buildings gradually turned on their lights, and the light from the bulb reflected off the Christmas red gift boxes hung at the front doors. Preparing for the Christmas festival, this scene showcased the beautiful evening atmosphere of the city, a place many people dream of. Eisen was admiring the incredibly pleasant atmosphere when his stomach groaned. Not long after, he was interrupted by the sound of the doctor's assistant.
We are here.
Eisen shifted his gaze from the scenery. His attention drew to the riverside restaurant in the city ahead of him.
Good evening, sir.
Oh, hi. Did you get who made a reservation?
Just a moment, please. This way, sir.
After the employee greeted both of them, she checked the queue and soon led them to the reserved table, making Eisen admire the riverside atmosphere in the city center, making Eisen even happier to be in these cities. Not long after, the food they had ordered earlier was served. Just by looking at it, they could tell it would be delicious. When all the food was served, the table was filled with Eisen's favorites. Eisen wasted no time and ate eagerly, hungry from the intense swimming practice. After they finished their meal, the assistant took Eisen home with a full stomach and tiredness from the training. Eisen fell asleep easily. The next day, Eisen came to learn at the piano school, and as usual, he learned quickly and received praise from the teacher to the point where he could almost be called the best in this place.
Let's give a round of applause for Eisen. He is truly amazing. Every note in his song was played with precision and without any mistakes, even though he just learned it not long ago.
No, not at all, Professor. I'm just an ordinary person who has gone back to practice.
Don't so modest. You're the best here. Anyway, I would like to ask you to help practice your friends, especially Seva. He really can manage on his own.
Sure, I will train him to be better than me.
The evening sunlight streamed in as Eisen sat playing the piano, waiting for someone. He played his favorite song, a tune that was both romantic and bittersweet. He continued to play, unaware that someone was walking closer to him.
Still play just like before,
Oh, I'm completely shocked. Why did you say anything before coming? How long have you been here?
It's been a while since I've seen you shocked with that ear like this.
Then enough. No need to joke around like this. Just sit down and practice. If you don't practice hard like this, when will you ever get it good?
Well, if I get good, you won't come to practice me anymore. I still want you to practice with me for a long time.
Then they sat down and practiced playing music continuously. 5 days later, after Dr. Harris went out of the town, today is the day Dr. traveling back, and on this day, Eisen had also arranged to practice piano with Xavier at home. When Dr. Acettan not long after going out, Xavier arrived at Eisen's house. Eisen then went down to greet Xavier and said,
Hi, Xavier. Come in first. No one is home today.
Thank you. Oh, where did anyone at home go?
Doctor going to another city. Should be back in the evening. And the assistant just left a moment ago. Probably went to the company.
Eisen smiled and turned to talk to Xavier with a pleading look in his eye.
Since there's no one home anyway, I want to take Xavier to a place. I really like going there when I am home. Want to come with me?
Xavier spoke while shyly avoiding Eisen's gaze.
Sure. Where? Let's go.
Then Eisen took Xavier to the place he mentioned. Eisen and Xavier came to the flower field that Eisen likes. They both walked and talked happily.
Dad, you like it here?
I like it. It's really beautiful, just like your eyes.
What are you talking about?
I like everything you like, including you. All the time we have spent together, practicing piano, talking. I've accidentally fallen in love with you. I fall more in love with you every day, to the point of almost going crazy. And today, I can't hold it back anymore. I like you. Really like you, I said.
Hey, are you serious? I like you too. You know, I haven't liked you all along.
I love you, I said.
Xavier leaned towards Eisen with a shy demeanor, but full of love. He placed one hand on the wall and the other on Eisen's face. Eisen closed his eyes tightly with a racing heart. Click! The sound of Xavier's hand hitting something, and the image of the flower field disappeared, transforming into the clear view of an empty laboratory where both of them could be seen clearly.
What the hell is this?
What is this? I never knew it was like this here. What the hell is going on?
Huh? Dr. Harris never told you about this?
Never. He never said that there were laboratory here before.
So he was holding this from you, right? Or is there something more to it?
While Eisen and Xavier were stunned by the truth before them, Dr. Harris returned to the laboratory and saw both of them through the partition glass.
What are you doing here, Eisen? Why did you bring an outsider in? Assistant, why did you let it happen like this? I told you, didn't I? To take good care of him, to let him find out about this.
What is this, doctor? Why are you doing this to me? Why did you hide that there was a lab here? And why do you have to keep watching me all the time? Why? What are you experimenting with me?
Don't shoot at me. Without me, you would never have this incredibly happy life. I am your benefactor. Shut up and go back to being a good child. Don't act like you have any rights.
Why are you saying this? What exactly am I to you?
You're just one of my experiments.
Test subject? Me?
Forget about it and go back to living your perfect life. Then everyone here will be happy and life will continue like this.
No, tell me the truth. Tell me. Otherwise, I will tell everyone how terrible you are.
So, This is a reliable behavior. It's a failure, my perfect specimen. You shouldn't be act like this. It's a mistake again. I have been watching you for many years. It's over now. I guess I have to scrap this project. I don't want to do this, but I guess it's goodbye.
He reaches for the control panel, and the sound is heard. End of the experiment. Manage of the experiment. In a fit of rage, Dr. Harris opened the secret circuit panel, revealing a bottle that was a bright vivid red. No matter how far away from the circuit panel one stood, it was impossible to take one's eyes off this bottle. Eisen Xavier immediately knew it would be a good button. But Doctor, without hesitation, he pressed the button. The three of them immediately turned their attention back to the screen. Suddenly, the images of the flower field, trees, and even the butterflies that Eisen had seen since he first opened his eyes began to fade away pixel by pixel before him. The sound of rustling leaves and the beautiful bird song transformed into the voice of AI, announcing that the world he was in was about to shut down soon. Eisen's eyes filled with tears. He was utterly confused. He couldn't even comprehend what he was feeling in his head. What about his friend, siblings, or even a stranger he had just met the morning? Would he never see them again? Xavier, or even himself? Eisen was too weak to stand on his own legs. He collapsed to the ground, his heart burning, his face covered in tears. Xavier was no less affected. He was shocked and confused. The overwhelming flood of emotion in his head was beyond what any one person could bear. But when he looked at Eisen, his heart ached with sympathy. Without hesitation, Xavier sat down and embraced Eisen, offering comfort with love.
I love you, Eisen. I will be with you, even if our world fall apart.
I love you too.
Both embraced each other with love, but it ended in tears. They both felt the love they had for each other, even though it was not long. It was enough to comfort them in such a cruel situation. Their lips met as if their hearts were merging into one. The kiss was filled with the taste of tears that were not pleasant. They did it with all their might as if this would be the last time in their life, before they slowly faded away. Every action was under the watchful eye of Dr. Harris. His gaze was filled with anger and satisfaction, yet he felt an emptiness in his heart that was completely inconsistent with his action. He destroyed everything he had built with his own hands. He could only think of the award he had received just a few days ago. A blue plaque interspersed with pink. Although the color clashed, it was incredibly beautiful. He immediately recognized it as the highest quality and rarest quad. It was an award that everyone deserved to possess. He admired the award for a while before throwing the thing he was most proud of in his life on the ground, shattering it into pieces. Then he swept everything around him onto the floor. The room was filled with metal scrap, glass, and quartz, and the air was thick with the smell of blood. He sat on the floor and cried. He was almost going insane. The metallic smell of blood in Eisen and Xavier's mouth was equally strong. They had been hugging for several minutes, and he could hear every action of Dr. Harris. The two opened their eyes and looked at each other with bewildered expression.
Why haven't we disappeared yet?
Xavier could only bring his index finger to his lip as a signal for the other party to be quiet. He didn't know what was happening either, but right now, Doctor and the assistant couldn't see either of them. Doctor paused, turning his face toward the sound that pierced through his auditory senses, muttering words that were not very pleasant without realizing it.
Why wouldn't they go away?
The voice that came out was filled with confusion. He looked at both of them with anger but also with deep suspicion. Eisen looked at the man in front of him, Xavier, and then at Dr. Harris. He suddenly realized that it was not the time to be sad. He quickly grabbed Xavier's wrist and spoke with a trembling voice.
Let's go. Hurry and run.
Both of them didn't hesitate and quickly got up with all their strength before their senses fully returned, even though they didn't know where to escape to. Eisen only thought about wanting to disappear as quickly as possible, just to make Doctor not being caught in it enough. Before he could take a step, he felt as if someone had grabbed his wrist. He turned back anxiously, irritated and ready to scold the person who had pulled him. But he was so startled that he almost shouted out loud.
Shh, look, we can't disappear.
He loosely covered Eisen's mouth with his hand because he knew that if Eisen was startled and shouted loudly, it would not be good. Xavier led Eisen quietly along a shortcut until they reached a room. They didn't pay much attention to anything, only knowing that the room was the monitor room. Even though many questions have arisen, and he doesn't quite understand the situation right now, Eisen can only follow what the other party tells him, as quietly as possible. If he could hold his breath, he probably would have done so. Even though he was confused about why the two hadn't disappeared, he already knew that Eisen had used his disappearing power to escape him. He scanned the room for his assistant but found none. Without wasting any time, he quickly got up and went out to find his assistant so he could finally end this matter. After Doctor angry because those two disappeared, Doctor got busy searching for those two. Meanwhile, Eisen and Xavier soon found themselves in Doctor's control room. Immediately, Eisen began to doubt his own body. He wanted to prove something, so he closed his eyes and looked at the object in front of him, willing it to disappear. When he opened his eyes, the object was gone, and both he and Xavier were astonished by what had happened. Then Eisen said,
What the hell is happening to me? Why do you like this? What did he do to me?
Eisen, take it easy. Let's slowly figure out what happened.
I'm scared. I'm scared that one day I will make you disappear. I'm scared. I don't want it to be like that.
Suddenly, he looked up and saw the video on the monitor that had been recording him every day for the past year. He immediately realized that Doctor captured as a test subject. He began to think back to when the butterflies started flying around him. In reality, it was because of his power that the butterflies were forced to circle around him. He immediately realized that his power now was the ability to control thoughts and make everything happen as he wished. And his power had been with him since birth, with the first time he used it being in 2098, when he was only 3 years old. His power at that time was so immense that it nearly put half the world in danger. So they did everything possible to track him down and erase his memories in order to take him to develop the great power of Eisen, to use it to conquer the world. When Eisen learned the truth, suddenly Doctor and the assistant rushed into the control room, and Doctor just said,
Frank, hold him down and erase his memory.
Frank is the name of Doctor Assistant, and he is Doctor's first human subject with the power to erase memories. He has been adopted since he was a child by Doctor. Frank was tested on everything like Eisen, but due to Frank's loyalty, he never thought of rising up against Doctor's action. So, the reason Eisen can't remember anything is because of Dr. Harry's skill in having Frank erase his memories. When Doctor finishing his speech, Frank ran straight to Eisen, but Xavier blocked him, preventing Frank from approaching Eisen. And when Eisen heard what Doctor as soon as he spoke, he got angry immediately, causing all the control room glass to shatter at once. After that, he began using his physical powers to harm Doctor and the assistant, and ready to speak.
What are you doing to me? You used me. How could you do this to me?
I'm helping you here.
Can you help? But you are about to use me to do something terrible wrong. Is this what you call helping? You took me away from my parents. How could you do like this?
Eisen, don't do anything yet. Calm down. Let's talk about what we should do first.
Eisen's white eyes began to fade. He started to calm down and came down, and cry on Doctor. He was in so much pain and couldn't get up. After that, Eisen began to collect himself and chose to use his power to make Dr. Harris stood up and surrender for everything he had done. He had to be imprisoned in the depths of space as a serious intergalactic criminal. Of course, Dr. Harris was unaware of all this. So, when he opened his eye in the cell, he went on rampage and demanded to see Eisen. Eisen stepped into the prison area with Xavier. The atmosphere in the room was both cold and chilling. He slowly walked straight to Dr. Harry's cell, his heart trembling with fear and sorrow. Finally, he reached the deepest, darkest, and quietest cell. As soon as Dr. Harry saw Eisen's face, he turned red with anger and immediately started cursing at Eisen.
You are truly a worthless creature. Is that how you replay me? You ruined everything. You made a mess of anything I had. I wish you no happiness and a miserable life forever.
It was Xavier who responded back to Dr. Harris.
Do you still dare to do this? You are the one to destroy your own life. How many people you killed? How many people have you torn apart? Have you ever thought about it? Do you still have any humanity left? I don't care, because it's my duty. You guys are just low life.
Finally, until now, you still can't think of anything, can you, Doctor? You never felt guilty toward me on order, did you? What you did was even worse. But up to this moment, you still haven't repented. Yes, I betrayed you. But at least I didn't write things like you. The life I had with you was perfect. But it didn't have anything called love in it. Of course, I was afraid of losing you, afraid that you would be hurt because of me. But after hearing what you said today, I will move on. I will forget someone as terrible as you and light a bright life. I have seen and understood what it means to love without expecting anything in return. Goodbye. And thank you for everything. I can only hope that this place will make you realize. Good luck.
After finishing his speech, Eisen turned around and walked out of the cell. Dr. Harry's voice called him all the way. Of course, he felt quite regretful for having to do this, but it was the right thing to do. He walked unsteadily like a mindless person. His eyes burned with tears. It was Xavier who came to hold Eisen's hand and let him out of that cell. After leaving the cell, Eisen didn't say a word to Xavier. There was only silence. Xavier could only hold Eisen's hand and lead him to the beautiful flower field.
You like the flower field, right?
Eisen remained silent, not saying a word. He only stared into Xavier's eyes.
I know you are sad and afraid to start anew with your new life. But don't forget that you still have me, someone who loves.
Eisen's tears overflowed with both sadness and joy. He was sad that he had to leave Doctor left behind. But he was happy to have met Xavier, the one who loved him from the bottom of his heart. Even though it might be hard to leave everything in the past, he was now sure that he wanted to start anew, to have a new life together with Xavier, his beloved. He then rushed to hug Xavier and said,
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for always loving me. I'm ready to leave all the bad things behind and start anew with you. I love you, Xavier. I love you so much.
Xavier was slightly taken aback by how tightly Eisen hugged him.
I love you too, more than anything. Let's start anew. Let's try to live a bright life together, like these few flowers.
After finishing his words, he placed his hand on Eisen's face and leaned down to gently kiss Eisen's lip, amidst the bright flower field but in the warm evening sunlight.